Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And let's talk about episode 12 of Big Brother Canada season 10.
This season, I said it's iconic earlier in the week, and I stand by it.
Well, I think what's going on is the fact that there's been no solid alliances. Like, we know that Kyle busted up all these alliances. So, and nobody knows where to fall. Like, nobody knows who they can trust.
No,
Nobody knows who they are fighting for. And so it's just like chaos
no.
all the time.
It is constant chaos. It's a bunch of people who are trying to play, even if they play horribly. We got nominees winning vetoes all of the time. It's so good. But first, before we get into it too much, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We are going to talk about episode 12 that just aired tonight, but we do have veto spoilers for you at the end. So if you're interested in staying tuned for that or tuning out for that, that is your choice. Hello to the chat. Welcome, Chantele. How was your weekend? How are you?
Weekend is good. I think I told you like about a month ago that I was shortlisted for this incubator for businesses. And so
Yeah.
I pitched on Friday. I did a full on live pitch
Ooh.
and I got it today that I got in. And so I will be part of this like program that's going to help me build realness.
Oh,
So
that's so
that's really
exciting.
fun. Like I just got the letter a couple hours ago. So it's nice to know that I'm going to
Congrats.
be in like a business minded like with mentors and stuff like that that can really teach me what I need to do just to build like to build my business. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I'll teach you everything I learned.
Yay! Build realness. We're all for that. That's exciting. And yes, spill your secrets. We're open to that. But let's start with the HOH comp on tonight's episode. We finally get to see it. We were given like the start of it on Thursday's episodes. We kind of knew what was going to happen, but now we get to see the house guests running around, opening doors to past players, posing in sort of these legendary moments from their seasons. We've got to memorize things because we're going to get asked questions. I just enjoyed watching them, open a door and be like, ah, to who was behind it.
It was super fun. I just kind of wish that we got a little bit more time with each of the scenes. Like it was just a bit too chaotic. Like seeing it also sometimes from the point of view of inside of the glass door and then seeing like the house guests. Yeah, it was cool for the moment, but like I did want to see the vignette, like the little window display. Like I wanted to stare at them a little bit longer. I feel like I got less than a second of each person and the rest was just like chaos and everybody running around. So I thought it was fun. But I wish it was a little bit longer that we got to spend with them.
Right. I think I was like more into this year's house guest being like, ooh, like who was fangirling over who. Now, you know me, I don't know half of these people.
Oh, right.
Because there were few from those seasons I know.
Well, Cindy with an S
yes.
she's pretty iconic, we'll say. You have to watch season 5. I don't want to spoil season 5, but definitely in both of her seasons, she's had iconic moves, and I wouldn't say they were necessarily for the right reason. Kind of iconically bad, I would say.
But Josh was like obsessed with her, it seemed like. He was like,
it's probably, I mean, just giving a reaction because it's like, oh my God, I watched you on TV. Like it's still a little bit surreal, even though they're not like a big celebrity. Yeah. Sure. I mean, I'd probably be equally as excited. I bumped into Cindy with an S once and I got really excited. And then I realized like, oh, right. I'm supposed to play it cool here.
Yes. Gotta play it cool. Gotta be cool about it. Yeah. Well, let's run back and answer our questions. And oh boy, Summer might have gotten a little distracted because right away she's going to miss the very first question. And she's the only one. They all get it right.
So embarrassing. Summer. I mean, I really enjoy Summer. I like her vibe. I'm hoping that she's not just going to be really fun socially, that she's going to eventually become a little bit more competitive in these challenges. Like I want her to win some power. I want to see what she would do with this power. I want to see what her head of household reign would be like instead of her just being good with people in the house. I want to see what she does with some power because that will show us if she's a good player or not.
I mean, I love the way she convinces people about things, or tries
True.
at least, whether it works or not. And I think she's under the impression she should not win power yet, because it seems like she might be throwing a lot of this. All right, the next question, Summer's going to get wrong again, but so is Betty. Then the next one, Betty's going to get wrong.
These two.
Then everyone is going to get it right except Herman, because he completely missed a door. What happened, buddy? What
Well, I
happened?
believe he was like, I'll come back to that one, and then he just forgot to come back to it.
Ran out of
So
time.
I would definitely, it kind of reminds me of when, like, say I'm like watching a show that I'm going to recap the next day, and I just want to watch it. I don't want to take notes. And then I
Oh, yeah.
forget to rewatch it the next day and take notes. And I'm like about to go live. I'm like, oh my God, I never took any notes. So that's what I think it happened, is that like he got involved and he was doing taking all of his notes, and he forgot to go and take his final set of notes.
That is a literal nightmare of mine, Chantele, to like show up for a live and not have my notes. I would panic.
You'd be perfectly fine,
I
I'm
would
sure.
panic and probably cancel the live and be
No,
like,
you
just
would
kidding.
never.
Oh.
I mean, like in those times when that happened to me, I would totally just like write down the things that I remembered really quickly and then just like go with it. I think the
That's
chat
so
usually
funny.
helps out.
Yeah. You're like, what was that chat? Okay. Yeah. All right, then Kevin's gonna miss one. So we are, and then Moose, Betty, and Helena are gonna miss one. We are down to a tie here at the end between Jess, Josh, and JC Lynn. Could we get any more J's? Yeah, in this house. And the question is, how many balloons in that comp that had a bunch of balloons?
My guess
What
was
is,
$9.99. That was my guess.
oh,
So
but that's a clear guess. Like, how would you know the balloons? This is a really hard question.
no, absolutely. Like when I was like looking, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just do big clumping, and I'm like, that looks like about 100. That's a square. We'll say, that's about 1,000. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go
Uh,
low. So I didn't understand JC Lynn's rationale. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go low with this because
she
like I know
went
there's like at least 1,000 balloons
so
there. If you think there's at least 1,000 balloons, wouldn't you go 1,000 balloons?
right. I mean, I know that you can't go over, right? It's Price is Right rules. Like you want to be close but can't go over. But why would you go down? She went down to like 200, right?
200.
She
Yes.
went so
I
low.
think Josh did 400 if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
what? I
Uh,
definitely I mean, I wouldn't have lost to Jess, but like I definitely would have said it about 1,000. And
yeah, I would have thought
if I
about
was there, I
1,000.
probably would have had a better idea as well. Like this was just me kind of guessing as an audience member. But if I was at the comp, like I would have had a better understanding of like how many balloons were there, I'd think.
Yeah, I think I would have gone down to like 900-ish. What'd you say,
Yeah.
999?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my guess.
I would have been like, I guess I need to go a little under just in case. But I loved Jess's answer was
One, 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 one.
1111, which is
I
so like spiritual.
angel number.
That's about a new beginning. And guess what? You got a new beginning as
True.
HOH.
I mean, I rolled my eyes there just because, I mean, I totally believe in angel numbers and whatnot. I wanted things to happen differently this week. So it was frustrating for me that their powers of manifestation was really working for them. So.
Well, I was very excited for a Jess
Oh,
HOH.
at the time, but not today. I already knew what's going now.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But at the time, I was here for like, what is a Jess HOH going to bring? And I assumed it was going to be a bit messy because, well, we've met Jess, we know. So buckle up, you guys, buckle up. Let's see. The first thing we see after Jess wins HOH is Herman and Tanesha having a little touch base here because they're both a bit worried. Oh boy. Jess has been on the outs since the start. This is a time for people in the house to be worried. Herman specifically has said their name a number of times. So they're pretty sure they're going to be on the block.
And he's also like, okay, we gotta start winning things, please. Like, Tanesha is like, I'm
Right?
trying, I can't win anything. And then Summer comes in and Herman's like, stop throwing these comps. And she's like, I didn't throw this one, I
She's like,
swear.
what are you talking about? I mean, Jay, come on. Oh, like, Summer, you're not even playing this off well. Oh my gosh. Summer. Jess and Kevin. Okay, let's get into it because Kevin. I mean, he even sets it up. He's like, look, I'm Jess's number one, but they ain't my number one.
Mhm.
Okay, but guess what? Jess is HOH, so here I am.
I love Kevin. I have to. I mean, I know he's the Aquarius, so I have to rep for sure.
Yes.
But like I say this every week that I wasn't expecting him to play as well as he's playing and enjoying his game and like all the antics that he's doing. Like when he was the lawyer Andrew last week, I thought that was pretty funny. He's just a player that I would like to play with,
Yeah.
And so I like the fact that he knows that he's not really working as well with Jess as Jess thinks that they are working with him.
Right, and we just saw, like, Jess is like, "Come on, dude," and he's like, "Yeah, we can't really be seen together, you know?" And now that Jess is HOH, he's like, "Yeah, now I can talk to you. Now it's okay." I mean, he is playing her, or sorry, Jess, like a banjo, like a piano, like, pick your instrument, but Kevin played them big time
And he
this
even
week.
says he's like, and if you feel that I'm being a little bit like antisocial or I'm not communicating as much, just let me know. Just let me know. So I think he just wants to like be as far away as possible. And then if they feel as though they need to have a conversation with Kevin, just like call him over. So I think that was really great to place expectations so that they wouldn't feel offended if he's not giving them enough or
Right.
smart.
I think Kevin's number one still Helena?
I
That's
think it would be
that's what
Helena.
I think so. Yeah. I believe tis Helena. Right. So okay, Kevin's gonna just break it down. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's build something with the showmance. Oh gosh, why is this? Oh, why, Jess? Why are you listening to this? And then yeah, Moose and Herman are such easy targets. I'd be willing to have taken this HOH this week because it's just so easy to throw those two up, and Jess eats it up just like breakfast.
And it really is really easy to just put those two people up. They have said
Yeah.
their name. They most likely wouldn't work with them in the future. So perfect. No blood off their hands,
Mm-hmm.
on their hands, anything like that. So I think it's a great pitch for Kevin to be suggesting this. And I mean, I understand why Jess is eating it up, but I do wish that maybe they had thought things through a little bit further for themselves.
Yeah, because there's a big name missing from. I mean, yes, those
Gino.
two. Yeah, thank you. That's the name.
That's the
Gino
name.
literally just put you up, and I mean, the delicacies, the nuances of like who you put up and stuff, maybe you want to be able to consider a Gino in the mix so that
Mhm.
if someone were to come off of the block, you just have better options and whatnot. I'm just throwing this out there because I have a big picture of the whole weekend, you guys. But that's where we are at this point. Cue JC Lynn coming in here to talk to Jess. And like, I do feel like JC Lynn and Jess have had a good relationship. So this one, Jess is interested in what JC Lynn has to say, but like, doesn't even require much from Gino. Like, JC Lynn's ready. Like, oh, Gino feels bad. And Jess is kind of like, don't even worry about it.
Jess made a face like, "Ugh," like why would Gino be mad? Like worried that I'm the head of household, and of course he would be worried. Like
Yes.
it would make all the sense in the world, and I believe that Gino even said to them, "I understand if you were to put me up on the block because I did it to you last week." So
Yeah.
yeah, he would be
In
worried.
invitation laid out for you, Jess. Easy person to throw up there. But at this point, Jess has been instructed to try to work with the showmans. So Jess is like, don't even stress, JC Lynn. Love you and Gino. Let's keep this going at this point.
I think, I mean, we do hear it a little bit later that Jess feels as though this game is a lot like high school and wanting to have people to hang out with. And I'm wondering if this is why they are making this move to want to hang out with the cool kids, you know, the JC Lynns and the Genos, who may not give them a second glance in high school, but now maybe the opportunity to sit at the same lunch table. So I'm wondering if that's why they are so eager to go work with Gino, who clearly couldn't have cared less if he were to stay or go last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen, you know, high school repeating itself. But you know, this here and here we're going to hear JC Lynn, you know, throw out the names Moose, Herman, and Tanesha. And now this is who Jess wants to work with. So here we go.
Is this, I can't remember what the timeline is, but is this before or after Jess is in an alliance with the sisters alliance?
The siblings?
Siblings.
Right.
With,
So this goes with your question, Seth. Like, it's not one group or alone. Jess has other alliances that they've worked with over the weeks, but what does solidify now is the siblings, which is with Summer, Tanesha, and Betty.
I believe Betty's in there as well.
Yeah.
And they want to bring in Josh potentially,
Yes.
but like Jess is not sure if they want to bring in Josh because maybe he might feel a type of way of not being part of it from the beginning. So they might start something new with him, but Jess doesn't necessarily want that right now.
Right.
So why would you go against this right away? Like, or have like the thought about it, you know?
Right. And I mean, I know that Jess has always thought that they were playing with Kevin, but I was under the impression Jess was also playing with Summer, Tanesha, and the bulk of the ladies, right? They've just gotten closer to the ladies.
I would think that the person that Jess is the closest to would be Helena.
And
I've
Josh.
seen Helena and Jess talk a lot about their dislike for Moose and Herman, just kind of like chatting, just throwing them both under the bus. So I understand those two as being their noms, absolutely. But just the floating in of a Tanesha when they have a good relationship with her so far. It's just that the idea of that I think is terrible for their game.
Yeah, and I am by no means saying taking out Herman or Moose is bad for Jess's game at this point. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we've got options here. But it's interesting that Kevin set them on a specific route and they really, really ran with it. So Jess is going to talk to Herman here at this point, and he did a lot of talking this weekend about aligning with the strong players, and he says it here to Jess, and I do think you're a strong player, so I do see value in you.
And this is what you kind of have to do if you don't want to become the sole target. You want to keep all the meat shields. It's definitely a strategy that the stronger players that are actually playing want to take, because it's like, don't take me out because I'm playing the game, because then people are going to want to take you out because you're playing the game. So let's shield each other and take out the people that could end up gaining power and take us out numbers wise. So I get the strategy. I think it's the only thing that he really has to go on is like, hey, comp winners, stay together. Let's get out the people that just ride the coattails. I'm down.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think saying this to Jess is a great way to smooth things over. I mean, I thought in the moment it made sense to say that.
Their ego a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do when someone is at HOH. And I don't think Moose did that. So now we see Jess and Moose talk, and I don't think Moose got the memo that you're supposed to sort of be like, you're HOH, oh my God, you're amazing.
I think Moose Well, I mean, we learned that we know that Moose doesn't know the game very well. I don't think that he's even seen a full season at all at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that he has, but he really is someone that's not familiar with the game at all. And I think he's just like an honest young kid that's on this game show that's like, okay, this is fun. Like, what am I going to do here? I'm kind of like a JD on Survivor last season. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just like happy to be here, fun loving, like young and
Yeah.
eager. And so, yeah, that doesn't also mean good game player, and we'll have the playbook on how to play HOH as well.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't give a lot here. We don't see a lot, and it just seems like this conversation goes nowhere. Then we go to Wendy's. Jess is going to take Summer. Says Summer has a lot of influence on this house. Oh, we heard it before. Yes, she does. They're going to see. Okay, explain this. Two winners for season 4.
It was a twist. So they're brothers. So they were
Oh,
at one point only no, they were both I can't remember actually. Were they both playing and then they revealed the twist? Yeah. They both were playing and then at one point they revealed that they're both playing and then they could win it together. So yes, they both ended up winning the game. I wasn't a fan
okay.
of this the ending of
The
this particular
season.
season, but the
Yeah, this
season
is.
was fun because it had Nikki Graham on it. She was
Mhm.
on it for most of the season, good like more than 3/4 probably. And Tim from Australian Survivor, Australian Big Brother was on it as well. If you might have heard about him, just because he was pretty wacky kind of player. So it was really fun up until a point, and then it kind of crashed and burned. But season 4 is
Okay.
not too bad.
Yeah. It's not recommended to me. That's not one of
It's
the
because
ones
the ending
recommended.
sucks, but like up
Mm.
until like final, like final 6, probably it was pretty good.
Well, Nick and Phil, they're going to say some things in separate videos. And then in their chat, Summer is going to mention Herman. Even though Summer is working with Herman, she, like I, know that he's a dangerous player. And I mean, I agree with her,
This
is what I'm
is
saying.
the thing. Yes, Herman is a dangerous player. I just don't think it's best for her to get out somebody that's fighting for her right now. Like
No,
Herman
keep
is
your
winning
numbers.
competitions. Herman would never put you up. Herman like is a great shield for you. People will put him up before you. So getting people out like that have all those like that's all that benefit for you, it doesn't make any sense. So the fact that she threw him under the bus, I was just kind of
This
like,
is This is
Summer.
another reason this house is iconic because they don't realize you're supposed to wait till like the end of the game to go after your alliance
Yeah.
members. They're like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm working with this person, but I know I can't get them out. Somebody's got to do it." So you go right ahead, and you're like, "You still need them. What are you doing? Like,
It's like
you just don't care."
give it a month. Give it a month and then
Yeah,
you can take them out. Like a month
right.
more. Like
And they're incredible. All right, so now Jess is basically decided, everyone seems to agree. Moose and Herman, right? But Jess wants to play a bit of a mind game or some sort of game where they dangle. I think I'm going to put you up unless you give me information.
this isn't good gameplay in my opinion. Because A, like they know that you guys aren't vibing, that you don't have a good game relationship. They
Right.
already have a feeling that you're going to put them up anyways.
Yeah.
And from past experience with working with them or talking to them, they have learned that things get out, we'll say. So
Yeah.
it really wouldn't be beneficial in any sort of capacity to give any sort of information to this person. And Moose will learn this the hard way.
Moose, I mean, this is the type of player Moose is. He's like, oh, in this moment, okay, I'm going to scramble and I'm going to tell you this. And sometimes it saves him and sometimes it gets him in hot water. And in this moment, he's like, okay, great. Let me throw out some names for you. He's going to throw out Kevin or Betty. Well, those are names that Jess is not going to put up, right? And like you said,
Mhm.
Jess does not have a working relationship with Moose. Moose has openly been coming for Jess. So, like, how is this ever going to go well? The next conversation with Herman, I personally feel like Herman handled it better, was like,
Of
we,
course.
we don't have a working relationship. Why would I tell you this?
Exactly.
I'm going to just go ahead and let you put me up and zip it.
And the audacity of Jess being irritated by the fact that, well, maybe if you gave me some information, then you wouldn't be going up on the blog. And he's like, you already said that you're putting me up on the blog. Why would I be working to give you information now? And it was great because they're two Taurus and they're both just like
Two
literally
bulls,
butting heads. Like,
right?
I think that's probably where the saying comes from. And so it was really nice to see that neither of them would back down and they both just left a little bit like huffing and
Right.
puffing.
Yeah, totally. Like, how dare you not fall for what I was trying to set you up for? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Was basically what we see.
put
And
you
then, of
up
course,
now.
yeah, after they leave, Herman's got to be like, ah, like, he's got to
I
rage
was
out a little bit.
obsessed with his little like rant after that because like that's how I would be feeling. Like, who are you to be expecting any information from me when you're not even going to give me the decency of not putting me up on the block? Like, no, no, no,
No,
no.
no, no, not happening. Nope. And then guess what? Exactly what we thought was going to happen. Jess is going to tell Betty. And I love that we get set up with, Betty's in HR. I need to talk to her. And then Betty unravels because how is she in HR?
I
Like,
was seeing this going through on Twitter when it was actually happening, and people were like, "Well, like I know some people in HR that they have this side of them." It's like I don't know. Like usually the people that I know in HR are usually very level-headed. Like they see both sides of the story. Definitely very diplomatic. Like they never really want to take sides. Like very.
right. And so like straight lace, like I have to be, professional. I have to be the one to like mediate or whatever. Whatever company Betty is at, like, I don't want to be called to HR. Like, I don't want to even go. Like, no way.
You get a spanking, a verbal
Yeah, like
spanking.
Betty zeroes in on Moose, and like we've learned this is true to Betty. She will come to you, she will tell you how she feels about you, and then she doesn't want to talk to you about it. Like you don't get to say anything back.
No.
And when they're like, "Should I answer?" She's like, "No, I don't want to hear it." Well, like, can I? No, I don't want to. It's just it's all Betty.
I mean, a lot of people are like love this about Betty, and I mean, it's of course it's entertaining, but I feel as though Betty might just do it to the people that she may feel a little bit have power over because she does it to Kevin because I think she feels like she has power over Kevin, and she does it to Moose because I feel like she has power over him, and so I feel like it's how it's coming out is for me, it doesn't seem like it's the best like character trait right now. But I do like anybody obviously standing up for themselves and wanting to kind of,
Oh, sure.
nip things in the bud. But I feel like who she's been doing it with so far have been people that I think that there's a little bit of a power dynamic.
I mean, I don't think it's a great trait to have in life in general. Like, if this is truly how she lives her life, I would like to talk to her about it.
Mm.
But for the show,
Yeah, I can give it to you for the show.
yeah, please feel free. Feel free to let anyone have it and then to become their best friend a week later. Like, whatever.
And then poor Moose though, like Moose, like I was feeling really bad for Moose, just like being a punching bag. For, what?
I don't feel bad for Moose.
What?
He said her name. If you say
Okay,
someone's name, they have
listen,
the
no.
right to come at you.
For sure, but like the reason why she blew up is because Jess did a little bit twist his words. And so he said one thing and she said that Moose said that she didn't deserve to be here. And that's not something
Right.
that he said at all. And he was like, and I think one of the reasons why Betty was so mad at Moose in this particular situation was because Moose and her have had conversations about having similar upbringings and backgrounds and that he like really appreciates having somebody like him in the house. And so the fact that that was what was used, he was actually really hurt by because it's like, I would never say that you didn't deserve to be here, but she asked me for two names and I gave her two names. So that's
But
also
he
kind of
did
why I
say,
was annoyed.
what is she doing in the game? She's not
To
doing
help
anything.
you.
But it's space. I mean, I know it's a little different to be like, you don't deserve to be here. Like that is very harsh sounding, but I mean, he did say she's not doing anything in the game. And Like, that's still
I
not a
think
great
well, I mean, I think he
mm,
was meaning
a great statement.
competition-wise, and he was
Yeah,
obviously fell into Jess's trap
yeah,
for not being able to articulate himself well in a way that's not gonna get him in trouble, but
yeah,
I think what he was intending on saying is like, "Look, am a target. I'm capable of winning competitions. I can do things in this game that
mhm,
mean getting some power that would keep you safe," and I think that that's what he was
mhm,
trying to say, and just kind of saying that Betty has not yet won anything at this point. And so they haven't proven that it's possible for them to like gain some power to be able to help you in the game moving forward. So he just didn't
right.
articulate it well at all. And then Jess kind of spun it in a way that went into Betty's computer system and came back out like a whole lot of anger.
Well, he's not gonna be able to say anything at that point, but he'll do something later. All right, so this is it. This is when we get our noms. Jess is gonna nominate Herman and Moose. And you guys, Herman is going to dance his way to his seat. And we get a little bit of it in the end here on the show where Jess says, as a super fan, they are offended by this move. But y'all, in reality, this was the most disrespectful thing her mom could ever do. And Jess had a massive issue with this dance.
I laughed because, like, I've been hearing about this disrespectful nomination ceremony. And you know what? As a super fan, I'm offended that Jess is so offended by having an entertaining nomination ceremony. Because, like, what are they supposed to be doing? Like, sorry. Like, just don't do this. Like, what did they want from them? They're putting them up on the block. They're making a TV show. They don't want everybody to feel weird and awkward. Like, let me go make a
Right.
face and do a little dance. Like, relax. What like
I
why
don't
are
like
you
as a
managing
super
my
fan.
nomination? Like, get out of here.
I loved it. I loved the dance. As a super fan, I appreciated it because what do you do? It's so awkward. You've just been nominated. It's like, let me break the ice by just shimmying over to my seat. Like in no way
I'd
was
probably give
that
them the middle finger.
disrespectful.
Like
Yeah. Like first off, Marty thought this was like disrespectful, pointing on your finger and now shimmying over to your seat. Is it's like, come on.
well, but like that's like why are people micromanaging the people that are not like being nominated? Like,
Right.
okay, so if you're gonna, I'm gonna nominate you to jeopardize your chance of being in this game, and I need for you to make sure that I'm happy with how you take this nomination. Like,
No,
no, like you're losing
never.
your power pretty quickly. Your power is to nominate people, but you don't get the power to how I react to it. Like, sit
No.
down,
That's one of
please.
my big pet peeves when an HOH has to say, like, "You have to hug me," or like, "You have to handle your nomination in a certain way." No, please sit down. Please sit down. That's basically the end of this episode, although Arissa does tease us that
Mhm.
2 people will leave on Thursday, but not in your average double eviction.
So I'm wondering, so what's going to happen? So we saw last season that maybe like that they had the face fake double.
Mhm.
Well, we're thinking this was the last person to go before jury starts.
Jury.
So maybe
Mhm.
they're going to do so in season 4 it was actually they had a fake double eviction where 2 people ended up living inside like a room together. They got to spy and stuff, very
Mhm.
Big Brother UK styles. And
Okay.
then the house guests ended up voting on who they want to come back in the house out of those 2 people. So I could see them doing something similar like that since they're doing a lot of these
Mm.
throwbacks.
Mhm.
It was just the Pax Brothers week, so throwback to their season. And then the person that comes back would make jury, basically.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I definitely think that they would probably do some sort of throwback to something we've seen before, since that's kind of the theme here of season 10. And I felt like even though last year we had this fake double, she would have phrased it that way if it
Hmm.
was that. So then I immediately thought, no, I guess it's not going to be that.
Did she say something like you've never seen? Is that what she said?
No. Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that. Chat, did y'all hear that? Uh, I didn't hear that. I just thought she said it's
Oh, not your average double eviction.
average.
Okay.
Yeah, not your average is what I heard. So a fake double is not our average double, but that thing, I remember Big Brother Australia did that where Victoria, was that her name?
I
It was
never
a V
watched it.
name. Anyway, she sat in a room and observed. She did that in Australia. So I don't know, but you guys, what I do know is that we have some spoilers. So get
Yay!
ready for a not in sync song and dance. Here we go. Spoilers,
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 spoilers.
spoilers.
Remember, you vote on a round, not in sync. It was 10 for 10. Beautiful. All right. Well, we know who won veto. Chantele, give it to us. Of course,
Herman!
because in season 10, a nominee will win veto every single week. It does not disappoint.
Thank you. I mean, I wanted
No.
Herman to win that so badly, and I loved, like, I was out, and so I wasn't on Twitter, and like I came home and just seeing my feed on Twitter, it was like, oh yes, it was just such a nice surprise when I learned that. Ah,
And
loved
spoiler
it.
alert, when you find out something bothers somebody, you do it again when you take yourself off of the block. So it has been reported that he danced his way off of the block as well, just to stick it. And I
Ah,
honestly can't blame him for it. This is getting silly.
well, at one point, Jess was doing the whole good sportsmanship thing to like, oh yeah, you were like a really good sport, like when you won, Herman. And I love Herman, like how he humors them and he like gives them the lip service and the face and the like, yeah, man, we're good, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then like I love that he turns to the cameras like, out next week.
You got to win something again, though, Herman. Yeah, you already won before, but you got to do it again
Yeah,
because
I think
he's
that he has a good chance.
he's had a lot of like, I'm coming for you, but he doesn't have the power to do it. Look, let's talk about Jess. We both have been rooting for Jess from the get-go. Oh wait, before we dive in about Jess, because this strongly affects Jess's game, because they had to do a renom, this is where things got really messy, I feel like.
Yes.
Um, I was
Did they
happy
go
that
through with it?
Herman,
I haven't actually seen if they went through with it.
they did. Jess nominated Tanesha. Tanesha is the nom sitting next to Moose. Even though Jess is in an alliance with Tanesha, Summer, and Betty, and has been working. And so that group of ladies spent the weekend being like, why would Gino not go up? Why would Kevin not go up? Like, why would Marty not go up? Like, why are these other people not going up? Why would you put up Tanesha? And Jess didn't have a great answer, talking about repairing relationships and stuff that just didn't add up. And so now that they did put Tanesha up, it's clear that that group has dissolved and that Jess is working with other people. And I'm not sure that Jess made great decisions for their game when they were already struggling socially. Unfortunately, Jess had to like really make up for like their lack of social skills with this HOH, and
And
I'm
it
just
didn't.
not sure that they did it.
No, not at all. I mean, I think that if they had put up Gino and been like, Gino, I'm not coming for you, but optically, since this is the word of the season, I think it would be best for everybody around if I put you up because you did just put me up. Like that would make the most sense to people, and then put him up next to Herman Herman because like Moose, her initial target was Herman, and
Yeah,
that would have been pretty easy if Herman did win the veto. Then Moose goes up. Moose goes home and wouldn't have made any enemies, wouldn't have exposed her siblings or siblings alliance. Like
siblings.
she
Mhm.
still would have been able to be like, listen, I've secured you the votes. Like you're gonna be staying, but like I really just had to do this. it
Yeah.
would have been fine. They would have been fine. And so I
Yeah.
wish that they had taken that route and not listened to Kevin. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin wasn't trying to make things a little bit messier, because
Yes.
when things are
Yes.
messy, he is able to hide.
Yes, I think that's exactly what Kevin is doing, and Kevin is just, like, every week becoming stronger and better, and, I mean, I have to root for it. I love it. It's so good. He knows that he can use Jess for a minute, but that Jess is a target in the house. Jess will go. Why not mess up Jess's game along the way and keep protecting himself? Like,
Mhm.
absolutely, I think that's what he did, and unfortunately, I mean, it's always easier to see it afterwards, but
Mhm.
you wanna make sure you have options in
Yes.
case a veto is used, right? And so even though, they're trying to work with Gino had already said, "You can yeah, I understand if you put me up,"
Mhm.
and put Gino up saying, "Take yourself down. I want Herman to go, whatever, but if Herman takes himself down, I can put someone else up." And you've still kind of saved your butt a little bit. And in this case, not willing to put a Gino or a Kevin or a JC Lynn, like these people who you are. I mean, Jess is legitimately working with them. So great for not putting people you're working with up, and Marty. But these other people that you're working with, you've just clearly shown your cards and
Mhm.
you will no longer have them.
Yeah, well, and that's what I don't understand with why they didn't think more about their nominations. Because
Mhm.
anytime I played anything similar to this, I think about every single possible thing that could happen in every single option, and like if I did this, who would I put up instead? Like for every single person, I would go through that, and so I
Yeah.
would have come to the conclusion I would think that it would be best for me to put up somebody that's put me up before. Like
Yeah.
that'd be
Right.
easy. Nobody would be surprised by that, including the person that just put me up last week, and put up my target. Like whatever, you should be fine with both of them going home, and then you have some room. And I just don't understand why they didn't think of any alternative like options, and then has to
Yeah.
go and immediately turn on their alliance and
Mhm.
pretty much ruin the relationships with half the house over
Yeah.
Gino, who still
Right.
probably doesn't care that much for you.
No, Gino's just like, "Okay, an alliance, great. Like, mine blew up. Oh, you wanna work with me? Okay." Like, Gino's along for the ride, but for, like, how long? We don't know. Hopefully forever to protect you because Jess is in no better position than they were a week or 2 ago,
At all. I
unfortunately,
think
and
worse,
maybe
to be
worse. Yeah,
honest.
maybe worse.
Because now it just yeah, I think it looks they have 3 people coming against them. Like well,
Yeah.
definitely Betty at this point doesn't trust Jess anymore since like
Mhm.
all these things have been going down. Like why are they putting up Tanisha? We're working together. And
Right.
so now Moose is starting to look a little bit more like, oh, maybe Moose was right. And Summer's like, well, I think that things have been spinned a little bit. And so I think that Jess might have done a really big disservice to their game, for the fact that they put up Tanisha. And
And I got
Tanisha
bad.
could go home. She could.
That's what I was about to say. For those of us who love Tanisha like I do, uh, this is not a solid Moose is going. Moose is Jess's target, and we should just also add here, Jess and Moose have had multiple back and forths.
Sure.
They are not on good terms, and
They're
in
10 years
Jess's
apart. Like I get it.
world.
Like
Jess, I mean, we saw that episode 1, I think, was showing us that they don't get along. Like, they do not vibe, and it's gotten worse. And so Jess is like, Moose has to go. But the people who are playing Jess are like, I don't know, maybe Tanisha's a better option. And now they have the options. So we are not set to say Moose is definitely heading out this week. The votes are up in the air, and I hate that for Tanisha.
absolutely. And I was watching another podcaster today, and he was talking about he thinks that the reason why Tanesha is such a big threat is because of the Tiffany effect. And so, with the idea of like, Marty being like, oh, there's a cookout alliance, they're thinking that
Right.
Tanesha is like the Tiffany of this cookout alliance that's happening because they just recently saw that happening, and they don't want to be duped, like the other players that were playing with on season 23. So I think that makes a lot of sense to me, because it's like Tanesha has done absolutely nothing to make me think that she is the best player in the game and she needs to get out. And, we got to get her now because she's running the other side of the house. Like,
It's
we don't
crazy. They have
get
been talking about that for weeks, that Tanesha is the mastermind running this group of house guests. And
it. She's just
I just
like
think Tanisha's
talking
cute
about
and
farting.
adorable and fun. Yeah. Like she's not really even hardcore playing at all. Like Summer needs her though as a number. And I'm more concerned because Summer is playing a very good game. So this is not good for Summer's game if Tanesha
No.
were to go this week.
And
And it's not good for Jess either, because Summer's gonna be like, "You did this,"
mhm,
even though Jess is gonna be like, "Oh, Moose was my target." But like, hello, that doesn't matter. We've seen that.
mhm. If they decide that Tanisha is better to go right now, they will flip it, and they will not care what Jess wants. So,
Marty would like Tanisha to go. Kevin has talked about like maybe Tanisha should go. And these are two people that Jess listens to very, very
mhm.
closely. Uh Gino, I believe, wants Moose to go.
But
But
he knows that Tanisha has said his name, so
yes,
Tanisha was somebody that he was thinking about the previous week of putting up. So I don't think
right.
that he'd be sad if Tanisha were to leave. So
And I
if
don't think he's going to put his foot down. Like, as
he wouldn't.
conversations build over the next couple days, if this group is really like, no, it needs to be Tanisha, I think Gino can be convinced. And I think Jess will be like, okay, if you say so. And then we're in trouble.
I could totally see Herman continuing to push. So Herman's pretty much jumped ship to go back over to the showman side of things, because he had asked Summer if he was going to should be willing to like play Veto if he got players or house
Mm,
guest choice, and she said, I don't want to play in this Veto, and basically said, no, I wouldn't use it on you. And it's like,
yeah.
oh, okay, like I win in competitions to keep you safe, but like you
Yeah.
wouldn't win a competition to keep you and me safe. Like, okay, I'm gonna go over there to the people that are winning competitions and see if they want to work with me. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what he's been proposing, and it depending obviously on who wins power, if that will solidify or not. But
Hmm.
I could see Herman saying to the Gino and the Jace, being like, hey, let's keep Moose in here. He's a player, like he's won competitions. Like we want to keep all the people winning competitions, and let's get Tanisha out, and that whole side is going to crumble. And maybe he could spin it. So
Yeah.
Moose is better for Herman's game than Tanisha is. So
This is better for Herman. Yeah. It's true. I personally would like to see Moose go because like Tanisha and I really like Summer, and I don't want to mess up Summer's game. And Moose is fine to go in my book, but like we've spelled
I
it out here, who
really like
knows?
Tanisha, but I want Moose to stay because
Uh-huh.
I want to stick it to the HOH. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I
I
see.
just want to just be like, oh, they didn't get what they wanted. That would make me feel good.
Well, it won't be. I don't think it'll be like the Kyle blindside. It's not like everyone's going to lie to Jess. I think they will convince Jess. And then, even though Jess isn't getting what they want, they were still in on it. So I don't think it would be as delicious.
Well, just delicious in the sense that they wielded all this power and then it just kind of dismantled, and they didn't get
Hmm.
any sort of real benefit from what they pretty much blew up their whole game if that happened, right?
Well, but Justin didn't have a great game to start with, so I don't know. I feel like that's picking on the kid who was already down. Like,
Oh, what
just was like,
with how they set up Moose for that fall? You wouldn't love for Moose to like win and like or stay in the house?
No.
I do.
Moose is
I feel
throwing
like
names out
he didn't
left
deserve
and
it.
right. He deserves to go. You got if you're gonna be a rat throwing out names, you gotta do it a little bit under the radar, like Helena. Helena, she playing that big old rat game, and that's gonna bite
Wait,
her.
Sarah,
What?
as our resident Sagittarius, are Sagittarius
Yes,
rats?
yes, there are.
I don't know this trait.
Sometimes
Let me hear more about it.
we just like to tell the truth, and she's just
Blunt, yeah.
trying to save her own butt by just revealing info left, right, and center. I don't recommend it, but it is a choice, and she has made it. And we'll see if it catches up with her at some point.
I mean, I
Yeah,
still like Helena. So
I do
it's
too.
probably like her vibe, like she still has good vibes to me. The other rat Florida that always comes up in my mind is Andy. Were you an Andy fan?
No,
Me neither.
no.
I was so angry
I'm
that
not saying
season.
yeah, I'm not always a rat fan. You got to do it right. You got to,
So I will agree with you that Helena is doing the rat game right.
yeah. Well, we have to root for our Aquarius Sagittarius duo.
I mean, don't you love that it came together? I may have
Yes.
mentioned it before, like when I was doing that original reading, and I was like, it seems like an unlikely duo, but they would probably work together really well. And so the
Yeah.
fact that that's actually already come true, I think is amazing.
Yes. I currently think, first off, BB Town, I love that you question marked love y'all. Let me think about it.
Love y'all.
I don't know yet. I think Kevin is the best player in the house, personally.
I agree. I love Kevin, but just to throw another name, I think Herman is the most capable so far of getting himself out of sticky situations. So we'll see how
Yes.
this moves forward. But yeah, I think Herman is also really good at playing the game, but he's a completely different personality than Kevin is, and so
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they're both playing excellent, to be
I
honest.
think Herman and Summer are both playing excellent games. I would put both of
Summer
them up
might
there.
Summer I had up higher last week, but she's kind of
Uh-huh.
falling a little bit this week. Not continuing to manage her relationship with Gino, really. Um,
Mhm.
I think
Oh,
it's
she
great.
dropped him real quick. I
Yeah.
genuinely thought that they had a thing going. I fell for it. And this week, she does not seem to need him as much.
And he's noticing, and that's not great.
No, it's
So,
not.
and she keeps on saying that, like, I have such a good social thing with people in the house and stuff like that. And I just don't know if it's great to continue to say to people because people will eventually just take you out. So I think that Summer is third. I think that
Mhm.
Hermione is playing a little bit better than Summer is.
Yeah. But this house is so messy. I love it. They're all over the place. So I'm here for whatever happens this week, even though I do have I have a vote where I want it to go, but I'm here for whatever. And then I'm here for whoever wins HOH and whatever happens next week.
That whoever goes out, I would love for Jess to go out after them because if it's some sort of battle back, it would just be very Jess desserts to be like Moose and Jess battle back. Like that would be kind of
Mm,
fun. So,
yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Excited for whatever this double may be. And I will be here with David after that Thursday episode to talk about that. Chantele, what are you doing this week with your schedule?
Well, hanging out with you tomorrow to watch
Yay!
almost the last, like the second to last 4 episodes. I mean, 2 episodes,
Yeah,
4 episodes
the
left, I think.
finals
5.
week for Survivor
Yay!
Australia. Yay!
So we're almost there at the finish line. And then on
Hmm.
Wednesday, I will do a live recap with Jonathan, but then I'm gonna do it with Taryn a little bit later where we'll air it after we'll do an episode recap together. Then Thursday
Fun.
I will do Survivor. And then Friday I'm gonna do with Jojo, we're do the double eviction episode with Jojo, if I didn't say that already.
Yes.
That's it. And
Yay!
Australian Survivor on Sunday, but that's so far away from now.
Right? Yes. Okay. Australian Survivor. I think I might have seen a spoiler, but I went through it really quick. So, or I like passed it in my feed. Yay! Next week is the end. So, yes, that's us over on Twitch if you want to join us for Survivor Australia. Otherwise, we'll see you for all the shows. I'll be here on Wednesday for Survivor 42. Thank you, everybody who joined us in the chat. You guys are so wonderful. And if you're joining us later, please leave a comment. Let us know how you feel about this Jess at HOH. How do you feel about well, that's a spoiler. Be careful what you write.
Oh, no,
in the
yeah, that's true.
comments.
You are correct. That is true. That is true.
So, who do you want to go out in the double or
do
win?
you want anybody to win the veto?
Yeah.
Who do you want to win the veto?
Give us who do you want to win the veto?
Hope.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next time.
Bye.